Hey everyone, welcome to MAP's Holiday Call, the top 3 ways to become the #1 listing agent in your market. Aaron, we want to know who traveled the furthest to be here today. Everyone put what city, state, where are you from? Put it in the chat.
You know what? You never know who might see it and have a referral for you. That's what I
That's
always say, Emily. You never know.
exactly. Never know. We're from
Florida, warm. Kentucky, cold. Ontario, California, or Canada? Because one is warm, one is not. St. Louis. Look at that. Los Angeles, Zachary. That's what they call it these days. So I've been told. All right, it's the top of the hour, Emily. Go ahead and kick it off.
All right. So today we are going to dive into the top 3 ways, as I mentioned, to become the #1 listing agent in your market. And yet, before we do, Aaron,
Before we do, as always, with anything you're doing in your real estate practice, please make sure you're abiding by the TCPA and do not call protocols. All right, Emily, why should they listen to us about listings?
yeah, so we are both executive coaches. I am out of Ozark, Missouri. If you've seen the show Ozarks, it's like that without the cartel. And I am co-leading the Mega Listing Agent program, Take More Listings Now and Convert Sellers to Closing for MAPS with Aaron, my partner.
Yeah, so Emily, I've been selling since 2004. Best known San Diego anchorman. 1,200 listings sold so far and counting. And we're excited today. So, what are we going to be covering today? We're going to go fast and furious. Let's just make sure everybody knows that. But what are we going to be covering today, Emily?
Yeah, so first we're going to discuss numbers, then we're going to go into sources, and then we're going to go into schedule. So today is all about execution. Clarity is power, as you may have heard. So we're going to get really clear for you all leading into 2026 and crushing quarter 1.
Awesome. So, are we going to make them do a bunch of math?
Yes, because the path is in the math, Aaron.
No, it's already done for them. All right, run them through the economic model real quick.
Okay, so the first thing, if you've gone through business planning clinic and or you've worked with a coach or you have kind of ran through an economic model, this may look familiar. And yet we do this because this is be the #1 listing agent, right? What we focus on expand. So this is all your listing goals. So if your goal is to close 50 listings in 2026, then what we want to do is we want to know how many listings do we need to sign, meaning go live on the market with, such that we would close 50, right? 75% is a pretty healthy number in that regard. So we've done the math for you here. If your goal is 50, you're welcome. So you would divide 50 by 75%, and that would give you 67. So if we sign 67 listings, how many listing appointments, how many clients would we need to meet with, right? Consults held in order to sign that. Now, some of you may be looking at that 50% conversion and going, what? 50%? And Aaron, why is it 50%?
Because that's just what this market is giving us, correct? I mean, Gary even acknowledges where in the past it might have been as high as 85% or 75%. With the market that we're in right now, with as much uncertainty that people have, we're going to meet with a lot of people that it might work, it might not. So Gary said, hey, 50% on your consultations is probably an appropriate percentage.
That's exactly right. And is anyone going to be upset if you make more money on this call? No. So use 50% because if you convert at a higher level, that's not going to require more of your time, right? It's just going to, because it's no more appointments held on the leading indicator. And then how many appointments do we need to set if you're using a set to hold? And yet we just really focus on held because if you don't meet them, you're not going to sign them. Can we all agree? So if the #1 KPI that you track is held, you're going to be looking really, really good because you're not worrying about cancellations. That's your gamification. And it doesn't matter how many conversations, or connections that we have to get in front of those sellers. So listing appointment held, if the goal was 134 and We use 10. And the reason why we use 10 is because in November and December, historically speaking, in a calendar year, when do those closings usually show up?
Those are going to show up that following year, correct?
The following year. That's right. So we
Yeah.
divide by 10 such that we close in the calendar year. So we're setting ourselves up for success. And that would mean we would need to hold 14 listing appointments.
For the month, which broken down, that's roughly three per week. If the goal is, let's say, 50, and three per week is perfectly manageable. Would you agree?
That's exactly right. Yep. And these are industry averages in terms of conversion rate. And yet, if you track your conversion rate, do your math.
All right. So are we done with the math portion of the seminar today?
Well, I'm curious who's done the math in the chat? What's your listing appointment held goal for the month? Megan at 12, Karina at 11. I love it.
Yeah,
Dina's
there you
at
go.
8. Victoria,
Playing big,
24. I
playing
love
big.
that. Okay, well, the good news is take a photo of this slide if you haven't done your math yet. And that's your action item right after this is do your math, right? Clarity's power. It's important because we're going to talk about gamification here in a little bit, but we wanted to get the math out of the way so we can move on to the fun stuff.
All right. So what's the fun stuff? Knowing your sources, right? All right, Emily, is there any one, hey, this is the best source? Does that exist?
No,
No. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the buffet of what we believe are the top sources, and you don't have to do all of them, do you?
nope,
No, but you do need to at least be doing what, three or four of those if we want to dominate or if we want to be the number one agent in a particular market, correct?
that's right.
All right. So walk us through these sources real quick.
Yeah, so the first source is golden letters. So, golden letters is a simple letter that is targeted to off market prospects. So, maybe you're targeting your farm or a neighborhood, or you have a buyer need. And it's a simple letter. Dear seller, I have a client of mine who's looking to purchase your home at 123 North and Main Street. If you would entertain a top dollar offer, please call me at, and we sign it. Circle prospecting. Circle prospecting, Aaron, a lot of times people,
Wait, you went too fast on Golden Letter. Hold on, back up a second. So, why do we love Golden Letter so much? What's the conversion look like on the Golden Letter system?
yeah. So if you have about, we usually see between a 1% to 3% response rate on golden letters. So that means that if you send out 100, you're going to math, get at least one person to respond back to you. So we know that our best practice, Aaron, is to send 500 a month, which is 25 a day, 125 a week, and that will generate usually 5 responses.
All right, so all I have to do is spend what, 15 minutes a day to send out 25 letters, and I will have for the month five inbound sellers calling me.
That's right.
At what cost? What would this cost me if I was going to send out 500 letters a month? And if I'm there's a lot of discount stamps, but if I'm going to pay full rate on postage, what's it going to cost me for those five inbound seller leads?
Usually, on average, we like to budget about $1 a letter if you're doing it
Oh,
yourself.
yeah, by the time you add up stamp, paper, ink, envelope, it's about a buck a letter, right? So let's say on a $500 investment, I'm going to have five inbound potential seller leads, right? These
Mhm.
aren't served up on a silver platter, but potential opportunities, correct? Which
Mhm.
breaks down to about $100 a lead. So how much would Zillow in your market, Emily, in Missouri, how much would Zillow sell you that lead for?
400 to 800, depending.
Yeah, in my market in Southern California, that's a almost $2,000 lead from Zillow. And you can generate on your own in less than 15 minutes a day for $100.
That's right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we pause on that for a second. All right, now you can keep going to circle prospecting.
Yeah. So circle prospecting. So circle prospecting is geo-targeting a specific area, whether that's an open house, whether it's a just listed, whether it's an under contract, whether it's a just sold. Even if you're working buyers as well, you can use this to generate other sellers, right? You brought the buyer and have an escrow and you want to take more territory in that market. go around, whether that's circle prospecting can mean a lot of things. TCPA and DNC compliant, of course, phone calls, right? It can also mean mailing. It could also mean uh, texting, TCPA, DNC compliant, of course, and door knocking. So there's a lot of opportunities to get your messaging out there to a specific area around business that you already have.
So, Emily, you're saying regardless of whichever way you like to communicate, whether you are someone that likes to pick up the phone, whether you're someone who likes to be face to face, whether you're someone who likes to do, mailings, or if you like to be on social media, you can actually effectively circle prospect no matter which style you like to communicate, correct?
That's right.
Awesome. All right. What about farming?
Well, as Jason Abrams says, farm because maths, right? So we we look at farming, there's two different variations of farming, right? There's demographic farming, so you're targeting a specific demographic, right, that you specialize in. Or there's geographic farming, which is targeting a specific neighborhood, zip code, area, street, whatever that looks like in your market. Farming is, I mean, it works. And for all of us, we should absolutely be farming our neighborhoods, right?
Yeah, and just like golden letters, the reason why Jason Abrams says the maths is because again, it's a predictable investment for predictable lead flow for predictable outcome, correct?
That's right.
All right. And by the way, some people on here are going to be like, yes, but what do I do to farm? How do I do the golden letter? We'll get to all of that in a moment on how you get those resources. We're just going through the buffet for now. Fair?
Right. Yep.
All right. So next point, professional referrals. All right, Emily, this is one of our favorite because here's what we know. It doesn't matter what market you're in. I can guarantee you that 75% of the sellers are coming from one of three demographics. It's either a boomer downsizing, a senior transitioning, or a family inheriting property. And if you understand that, then if you think about this, who are the other professionals that are on the front lines of that business and actually know about those opportunities before we do? And it's very simple, right? Estate planning attorneys, financial planners, and CPAs. Those three professionals, and they're not the only three, but those three professionals all know about these opportunities first. So if that's the case, why wouldn't we want to look at our geographic area and get in relationship with every single one of those professionals such that if they come across a client, right, or a case they're working on that has a real estate need, that referrals come in our way. And by the way, Emily, this one, it doesn't cost a dime, does it? To go out and get in a relationship, it doesn't cost any money.
How many of these professionals, Aaron, have
Mhm.
you found actually have a dedicated agent that they refer to on average?
Less than 30%. Less than 30%. So that means 70 plus percent of the time, they are coming across clients, right, that have a real estate need and they're not making the referral because no one's asking for it. And it's not because they don't know of agents, Emily, it's because no one is proactively asking them on a regular basis what client or case they're working on that has a real estate need that you can help with. That simple.
That's
All
right.
right. So how are professional referrals different from allied resources or vendors?
So professional referrals, as you mentioned, are on the front line, right? They're getting the referrals before they know about the business before we do, more times than not. Our allied resources and vendors, they're tied to our transactions, right? These are the people who benefit from you taking and selling more listings. So these are your contractors, your stagers, your photographers, your cleaners, your landscapers, your electricians, your fencing people, your plumbers. The list goes on, y'all. But they benefit from you doing more business when it comes to listings. Now, here's the interesting thing. One of the things that we hear all the time, Aaron, is, well, um my stager works with multiple agents, right? Or my photographer works with multiple agents, or well, my electrician, his son is a real estate agent, right? So we hear that a lot. And here's what we would challenge you all to is to think about how can we get them to support us in generating additional listings. So what we like to use for allied resources and vendors is obviously having a referral relationship. And yet we know that sometimes, They are tied to multiple agents. They do have family members or spouses that are in there. So how can they support you based off the business that you've generated them to zero out your lead generation expenses to go find additional listings? What would that conversation look like?
And also, yes, they all work with multiple real estate agents, but just like we talked about in the professional worlds, who's actually asking them for the business? Everyone, Gary says people aren't born with a referral gene. They don't just wake up and start sending referrals. They have to be asked specifically for the referral. And I promise you, the other agents they're working with aren't making that ask.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Aaron, third party referral parties. Who are these people?
Yeah, so these people are like the Realtor.com, the Zillows of the world, the Home Lights, the Dave Ramsey, any basically third party that's generating referrals and either selling them to you per lead or per referral fee. And Jason Adrians a few years ago went through and made a complete list of all these different aggregators. Someone in the chat will post our Facebook group. We have it posted in there if you want to go and take a look at, who they all are. There's a lot of them. But Emily, is there any shame in this game?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all. So what's the key though? If you're going to take that on and you want to be successful with those third parties, like what's the one thing that you have to make sure you do such that they keep sending you great leads?
Speed to lead.
Yeah. Speed to lead and then communicating back to the mothership, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, they all have some function of updating notes. The more that you're getting to lead quickly and you're updating those notes, the more you'll get from it, correct?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Awesome. And then I would say these next two, Emily, I've noticed in my roster in the last 60 days, more people have been asking about best practices around expireds or canceleds and for sale by owners than I've seen in like 5 years. Have you seen the same thing?
Same. Yep.
Okay.
Aaron and I believe that there are four ways to communicate: voice to voice, face to face, print, or digital.
So you can actually, if let's say, like we talked about on circle prospecting, if your preferred method is print, you can have a whole letter campaign with expireds, correct?
That's right.
If your preferred, communication method is face to face, you could be out, knocking on their doors. Same with for sale by owners, correct?
That's right.
If you love to be on social media, this is a fun one. How do we go win expireds on social media? How does that work?
You find them.
How do we do that?
You can search either their email, their phone number, or their name under the people, and you can geographically search by putting in the city and state, and then usually it auto populates of who they are.
Wow. And then you what? Just send them a direct message?
Yeah, friend them, send them a DM.
Amazing. How many agents do you think are doing that?
Not very many.
Yeah. Huge opportunity though, correct?
Especially if you have mutual friends, because how many of us have a lot of mutual friends and you don't even know who the mutual friends are, right? On your social media accounts, and you're like, oh, I just added them because they requested me as a friend, right? You can easily connect with a mutual of, oh, hey, I saw that we have a few mutual friends in contact, like, and move on from there.
Yeah. And even if you don't, you can still send them a direct message, correct?
100%.
All right. And then wrap it up with door knocking and database.
Yeah. So door knocking, essentially, again, going to the door with a piece of collateral in a specific area that you're looking to take more market share in. And then database. This should be the foundation of all of ours. So when we say have 3 to 5 sources, database should absolutely be one, because your database can be your data bank should you have a touch plan that you are using to communicate to it frequently. As we know, mind share leads to market share, right? So the more that they see you, the more that they see your stuff, the more that they hear from you, the more that they are reminded that you are the realtor of choice.
Yeah.
So here's what I would challenge everyone to do, Aaron, based on these are just the top lead sources that we're seeing that convert for listings now. Go back through this year of your listings that you have signed. Do a source analysis and go, okay, what were my top lead sources? What am I doing really well in generating those listing opportunities? What am I not consistent in that if I were consistent, it would double the number of listings I would get from the source? Start with what you're good at. And guess what? If you don't like doing something, stop doing it. It's okay. There are four ways to communicate. There are multiple ways to win when it comes to listings, and we've got all of these options from a prospecting and a marketing option for you.
So Emily, we do a lot of training on how to do all of these, right? You know,
That's
top to
right.
bottom, we do a lot of training. And yet we noticed that the one thing, right, that trips everybody up is what you said, is the consistency. They want to do it, they start it, and then they aren't consistent with it. And
That's
what
right.
we've really dialed it back to is that they don't have a consistent rhythm in their schedule, basically a flow that they work through, ideally in the morning, correct? That is the same every single day. So if you're not sure what that should look like, we're going to share it with you, correct?
Yep.
All right. So this would be, now this is, you know, if you're going to take on, let's say, more of that buffet than not, right? This doesn't have to be what it looks like, but this is a good example of if you're going to take on the majority of it, right?
Yep.
You would start your day. We don't have to like wake up crazy early. Let's just say we started the day at 9 o'clock, fair? And
Yep.
we'd spend 45 minutes touching our database, whether you're calling them, texting them, whatever that looks like, writing them a note. You're going to spend 45 minutes with the goal to do 15 reach outs, correct?
Hmm.
Okay. And that's going to take you about 15 minutes. Now, I know that's going to tax a lot of you. So we're going to take a little break, right? Use the restroom, get some more coffee. And then we're going to come back at 10 o'clock. And then we're going to take 30 minutes to assemble 25 golden letters. Now, this is something that I do daily, and I can promise you it doesn't take you 30 minutes. We're being generous. But let's just assume it did. Okay, great. You've got 30 minutes, get your letters together. Now we're done. Now you're going to pivot and you're going to send one email to a new professional. Because Emily, in our program, we've got a great email that converts at a 4-to-1, meaning you send 4 emails, one of them responds back saying, yes, let's meet.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you send, right, one new email a day to a new professional, that's 20 a month. That's 5 new professionals that you're now going to get in a relationship with. But all you got to do is just send one a day, one a day, one a day. That's all you have to do. Okay. Then you're going to pivot. And let's say you are going to be going after expireds. Maybe you have them in a letter campaign. Maybe you like to door knock. Some of you might want to call TCPA compliant. You're going to pivot, you're going to pull them, and you're going to do whichever system that you like. Maybe you're going to hunt them down on social media now. And then same thing at 11 o'clock, let's make sure we check our farm. Your farm should be, you know, first and foremost where you live. So did anything new come on? Did anything go under contract? You know, is there any activity or action we need to take inside that farm today or this week that we need to execute on? And then lastly, for lead gen is your social media, right? Getting that done from 11:15 pivot, get your post done. And at 11:30, lead gen is done. And now we pivot to our lead follow-up because those are two separate things, right? So if you wanted to know what your morning flow should look like, as if Emily and I were standing next to you, telling you when to start, when to stop, when to start, when to stop, this would be a schedule that would absolutely allow you to be the number one listing agent in your market. Would you agree, Emily?
Yes.
Okay, so again, as simple as this all sounds, what did we find now gets in the way of people executing this schedule?
Preparation.
Yeah, say more about that.
Well, who are the 15 people that I'm going to touch? Who are the 25 letters that I'm going to mail to, right? Who's the professional referral partner, right? It's the who.
Yeah, and you said it the best, right? You have to, as a great business owner, take responsibility that, hey, for each one of these things, if we're going to be able to execute this cleanly every day without getting distracted, we do have to take a minute and be prepared to be able to execute. We do have to have a system for our touches, whether it's the DTD2 or whether you start top to bottom, right? You have to have a system. The golden letters, you have to know, hey, who are the 500 this month? You have to have downloaded it, formatted it, merged it. So all you have to do is print 25 and assemble. That takes a minute to do the preparation. Those professionals, yes, you have to Google those professionals in your area, put them in a spreadsheet so that when you're sending that one email, you just go to the spreadsheet, grab that email, send it, and you're done, right? And same thing with social media. You can't shoot from the hip each day. You got to sit there and plan out the week, right? What's the real estate? What's the local community content? What's my niche? What's my personal stuff? You've got to sit there, brainstorm, pick out the best ones. So then when that day rolls around, all you have to do is execute on it. So let's be clear. While this looks very easy to pull off, if you haven't done the preparation behind it, then you're going to get tripped up. then you're not going to have consistency, right? And then you're not going to hit the goal.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So Emily, with that said, oh, we're going to do this again in January.
Yeah, so we're going to go through your blueprint for Q1 listing mastery. And that last slide that Aaron went through on the schedule, we're going to break that down. So, what is the preparation behind each of those such that you can start 2026 off prepared, right? So, we're playing offense versus defense going into our new year and break down the logistics behind execution on each one of those.
But more important, right? We went through 10 lead gen strategies, right? We went through conversions on appointments to contract sign to actual listing sold. And I know there's probably going to be way more questions about, wait a minute, but how do I execute the golden letter system? How do I execute the professional referral system? So, what options do we have for people that now actually want to go deeper on how we execute, not just on the lead gen, but on the conversion as well from listing from pre-list to appointment to price reduction to sold?
Yeah, so we've got two courses that we're launching in January, so you can kick your year off listing focused. And the first one is Take More Listings Now. So, as Aaron mentioned, if you want to go deeper into any of these 10 strategies, we actually go deep into 12 strategies in our course. Then Take More Listings Now is for you. So, if you're not currently generating enough listing appointments to hit your listings taken goal, that's the course for you. We go deep in the system, the model, the resources, the how-to, the dialogues, the objection handlers, 4 ways to communicate. So if you're like, I'm never going to pick up the phone, great. The good news is we have 3 other options for you per category. And then Convert Sellers to Closings is the listing consultation to closing. So maybe if you're struggling with pricing, pricing's tough right now. You know, sellers are wanting 2021 pricing in today's market. Price adjustments, right? They're fighting those. Even signing, right? Oh, they're not motivated. How many times have we heard that, Aaron, right? Like the sellers aren't motivated right now, you know, or they want to hold off and wait. Well, wait for what specifically? So, our whole listing consultation to the process of pricing is Convert Sellers to Closing. So, we invite you for 6 weeks. We wrap up right before family reunion to join us and partner with us and taking more listings and converting such that your quarter 1 is strong and you're on pace.
All right. And then lastly, but wait, there's more, Emily. But wait, there's more. All right. What's happening on the 11th?
Yeah, so December 11th, we have Tech the Halls. So this is a great event, Aaron, where you're going to receive tools, resources, Canva, AI expert, and it's all in support of KW Cares and KW Next Gen. So if you haven't registered, Graham is so gracious and put the link in the chat. Go ahead and register and let's kick off our quarter 1s as the #1 listing agents in our market. So today we got clear on your numbers. We got clear on the top sources that are converting for listings. So again, go back and do the math on your numbers if you haven't already. Audit where your business is coming from, right? And let's double down on what's working and identify what your top 3 are. Have a couple backups for if we're halfway through the month and we're off goal of our listing taken, we can add in these strategies as a 15th of the month protocol. And then you have your lead gen plan right there. We're not putting lead gen, lead follow-up in our calendar. That's too vague. We're going to get really specific of what you're doing, when you're doing it, at the frequency that you're doing it, such that consistency compounds. And Aaron, as Gary says, when you hit your listings taken goal, you hit your year-end closing goal.
Yeah. And as I say, listings never go to style, do they?
Nope.
No. Nobody ever says no more listings.
Yeah. So we trust that this was helpful. Thank you for all of you joining us, and we look forward to partnering with you all and seeing you in January. Bye.
See you, everybody.